Cryptoslo, cryptocurrency news and investing.
Cryptoslo with more crypto gains. What's going on, guys? So the topic of tonight's video is how to mine a DApp, and specifically what is mining a DApp when people talk about games and that. So I'm going to go over some of the specifics and some tips and just in general. First and foremost, what is a DApp? A DApp is a decentralized application that usually interacts with a blockchain of a coin. In this instance, we'll be interacting with Tron, TRX. That's a lot of the dApps that we play. So if you go to DApp Radar, basically it lists a whole bunch of dApps, and basically this is a bunch of games that are out there that you can play and interact with. So that is what a DApp is. So basically it talks to your wallet and funds move in and out of your wallet, and that is it. You play the game. So what does it mean to mine a DApp? Well, a lot of these games, there's two ways you can approach the game. And tonight's game is dice. So specifically, either you're A, someone trying to win the game, or B, you're someone trying to get a stake in the DApp. What do you mean by that? So basically you have a game and the DApp will have its own token. Okay, so the DApp will have its own token. As you play the game, you earn bits and pieces of the token. So there's two ways that you can play these games. Number one, you can try to beat the game and beat the odds. In essence, luck, and win TRX. Or you can play the game and try to get as much volume, meaning play as many games as you can with your stack, and as you play the game, you will earn a token which represents part of the DApp. So that is the approach. Number two is the approach. We are mining the DApp. So we will play the game, and as we play the game, we earn a token, and then that token will earn us dividends. So that's what everyone's always talking about, dividends. So let's get started. Number one, first and foremost, you need to pick out a DApp. Well, DApps, you know, there is risk to DApps. Some DApps open up, they're open a couple days, and then they exit scam. Other DApps are really super popular in the beginning, and then as the dividends go down, people stop playing, and then the DApp usually dies. Just to give you an idea, I will show you my games not active tab. Alright, as you can see, there's probably 50 dApps here that I've played. Everything under the sun. So they come and go. So step one, find a DApp. Do your own research. Get in the telegrams. I recommend TRX Divvy Hunters. There's a lot of people in there going after divs every day. So in this case, we're going to find a crappy new DApp, which has not been proven. There's no research. And today's DApp is Tron Bull. So this pretty much completely appeared out of nowhere. I will say that they did at least pay out on the first countdown. The timer jumped around, it was delayed a second, but they did pay out. So do your own research. Only risk TRX you are willing to lose. There's no guarantees on the blockchain. So Tron Bull, dice game. So number one, step one, find a DApp, and that is dice. Now you're going to come to the interface, and you're going to see all kinds of knobs and switches and stuff. So the first thing you do is, if you're trying to get the most coin you can, okay, you are going to roll at the odds highest that give you the highest chance of winning. So as you move this slider around, you can see my roll chance: 12%, 30%, almost 50%, 95%. So theoretically, it is saying that I have a 95% 100% chance of winning. Now, depending on if the DApp is truly fair, this is going to vary. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, the minimum bid on this one is 10. I do not recommend 10, and the reason being, look at my balance. It's 4201, right? Watch when I hit submit. Okay, it's going to roll. I'm going to go ahead and tell my TronLink that it's okay for 1 day so that I can just keep spinning. Okay, and it's going to grind around, and I had a 10, so if I win, it's 10.36. But here's the thing. So it's 4201, right? 4201. Let me do that again. 4201.46. Remember that. So this is the important number. Hopefully we have another win so I can demonstrate what's going on. Okay. Now, see how it went down a little bit? Let's pull a little TronLink up. Okay, that's because when you roll on these games, it consumes energy. And if you don't have a bunch of energy frozen in your Tron account, it's going to gobble it up. So I do not recommend the 10. What I recommend is 25 to 35. And the reason being, on the highest odds, we're going to do over. And that's an important thing. There's roll over and roll under. Be careful when you refresh the page that you don't pick the wrong thing. Because, like, watch, if I click over here, now I'm only going to win by 4%. Get wrecked. So we're at 35. And we're going to roll. Now, let's talk about the dividends, the mining aspect of this game. So, looking at the dividend pool, which looks very much like TronBet. This is hilarious. So, right now it's saying that there's 39,068 TRX in the pool. That's the profits of the DApp that are going to be split among all the holders of Bull token. So right now there's 1,300 Bull tokens. So you take 1,300 and you take 39,000 and divide by the 1,300. So it's saying that I'll receive 1,222 TRX in this countdown. So as you mine, you see how it says I have 0.04 Bull. Okay, so let's go ahead and spin. And it's going to grind around. And all right, keep going, keep going, keep going. And okay, now let's look at the dividends again. Did you see how my Bull went up? So as I spin and I work that volume through this DApp, I will earn more Bull. So you're like, well, how much Bull do you get for doing this? Well, as it shows here, it takes 550 TRX to mine 1 Bull. Okay, so that means I have to do 550 in volume. So if I was on min at 10, it would take 55 spins to earn 1 Bull. Now, this Bull, the number of TRX dividends that you get will saturate as more people play the game. So the idea is on a new DApp is to stay ahead of the bunch, right? Okay, so and mine. No, most people will mine for 2 or 3 days and then they'll sit back and try to collect their ROI of all the TRX they spent. So remember, the goal here is not to beat the system. The goal for a miner on a DApp is to get as much token of the platform as possible. So we're going to go back to 50. So that means it's going to take 11 spins to get 1 Bull. So number one, make sure you got TronLink. Number 2, find yourself a DApp. Number 3, put the slider on the best odds for you. Now, this particular DApp had a glitch on the auto roll that ended up eating your TRX. So they removed auto roll. So you could either set up a macro or you could just sit here and manually do it. Now, I've noticed the house edge on this seems pretty high. So what is my strategy? My strategy is to roll manually and then roll If I get a loss, I will do what's called a recovery roll. And you're like, recovery roll? Okay, remember, the goal is to get as many of the token as possible, okay? So if you go down here, you click on my bets, and you see how this thing is going. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rolls, and I haven't lost yet. So now, I don't recommend multi-windowing, meaning having more than one window open at a time. So remember, the goal is to get as much token as possible. So what we do is we keep rolling until we have a loss, okay? And then when we get the loss, we do what's called a recovery roll. That's where you, okay, so I just lost, right? I'll give it a minute to pop up on the blockchain. Okay. Actually, there it goes. There's my loss. Okay, so now what I do is I do what's called a recovery roll. So what I do is I will bid a higher amount than normal, because the odds are that I will not have 2 losses in a row. And you're like, no, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm doing my minimum. I'm doing my minimum, 35 to 50. I have a loss, and then I have to do what's called a recovery roll. Okay, so you saw I won. Remember, the odds are for, you know, in your favor, that you won't have 2 bad rolls in a row. Okay, so now that was my recovery roll. Now you're asking, well, how high should I go on my recovery roll? Well, what I'll tell you is don't get greedy. Let's say that you were playing with a 1,000 stack. Okay, I would divide whatever your stack is by 4. Okay, so remember, I said the house edge seems a little brutal on this one. So what I recommend is I would only go about 25%, but that varies. If you've got a big stack, I still wouldn't go like over 500, because there is a possibility that you could have 2 losses in a row. It's not probable, but it is possible. So I do the recovery roll, and then I go back to my normal bid of 50, and I keep doing that, and I repeat. And you're like, well, why didn't you get greedy and do a higher recovery roll? Because, like I said, remember, the odds will get you in the end. So there is a possibility you could have 2 losses in a row, and you don't want your whole stack wiped out. Now, the object of the recovery roll is not to win back your TRX. As you can see, I'll demonstrate after this roll. Alright. Watch if I put this at 250. It's 259. It's only 10 TRX. However, I am earning half of a bull coin on that one roll. Okay? So what happens is when you take your total bull and you divide it by the TRX spent, okay, you're going to come up with an equation, and that equation basically will kind of divide out, and you can reduce your mining costs. So let's say that you blow through a 1,000 stack and you get X amount of bull. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Oh boy. Yeah, did not mean to do that. Oh boy, I just did it twice. I only hit the button one time. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so let's go over the basics. Number 1, a DApp, decentralized application that interacts with the blockchain, okay, and your wallet. Number 2, find yourself a DApp. Use DApp review. Find yourself. Get into Divvy Hunters. I'll post the link for the chat room on Divvy Hunters. And let's see, Divvy Hunters, well, Telegram. Yep, and if you don't have a Telegram account, just, you know, I can't do that. But anyways, I'll show you. Let me go over here and pull over my Divvy Hunters. So Divvy Hunters, well, that's NSFW there. Sorry. So this is the chat room where everyone is talking. There's 600 people in there. They're all looking for divs, all trying to get paid. All right, so find yourself a DApp, get yourself Tron Link, start mining. Do over 4 or under, if I click under 95, roll 35 to 50, okay? At the highest odds, when you have a loss, up your bid to like 250, 300, and that's your recovery roll. And that gets you more token, okay? And then every so often, you're stacking your bowl, okay? And you freeze your bowl, and then as you freeze more bowl, you're going to get more divs. This all seems magical, doesn't it? So anyways, that's how you mine on a DApp, and that's when people say I'm mining on a DApp. They're collecting the token which represents the platform, and they're trying to share in the profits of the platform. That's all there is to it. That's mining. Now, saying that you can beat the odds, it's unlikely. These will always end up taking your TRX in the end. So now, what's the strategy? So mine on the minimum, you get a single loss, bump your bid, do 1 recovery roll. Don't ever do 2 recovery rolls in a row, okay? Don't take that risk, okay? Then after your recovery roll, go back to your normal bid, and you just keep repeating this, and you get as much token as you can. Now, after 24 hours passes, you go ahead and withdraw your divs, and then you can decide whether or not you want to keep mining with the divs that you won, or just sit back and collect your stack. Now, what I will tell you is people are aggressive on these games, and they're smart, and that's just, that's just how it is. These people, so there's another loss. So now let's do the recovery, okay? Now remember, never do 2 recoveries in a row. So I'm going to post the steps again at the end of this video. There you go. See? The odds are for you that you will not lose twice in a row, and never bet your whole stack. So that's it. Let me go ahead and post those important concepts of this. And as always, do your own research. Don't risk more than you can lose, but have fun, and remember, these are games. And that's it. This is Cryptoslo. If you're not talking gains, then we're not talking.